money, Mr. Hill, is full pay.
It's interesting to speculate about the casting of the Cartwrights of Bonanza. Claude Akins was a great favorite of producer David Dortort's, and before finding Pernell Roberts, Dortort was seriously considering Claude for the part of the eldest brother. Lorne Greene was not David Dortort's first choice. That distinction belonged to Lee J. Cobb. David Dortort met with Lee J. Cobb's agent, who told him under no circumstances would his client do episodic television on a regular basis. Of course, 3 years later, Lee J. Cobb starred in The Virginian. I think about 3 years after that, he did get tired of episodic television and quit the role, and his replacement was Charles Bickford. Interestingly, when David Dortort first wrote his description of Ben Cartwright, he described him as a, quote, Charles Bickford type.
I didn't do it. Honest, Sam, I didn't do it.
I just want the truth.
I'm telling the truth. Well, I wouldn't do anything like that.
How can you be so sure? You were so drunk you couldn't remember Little Joe, you couldn't remember Hoss? What's the last thing you do remember?
I don't know. I couldn't do a thing like that. Could I?
Michael Landon was a favorite of David Dortort's wife, Rose Dortort. David Dortort had considered a number of young, good-looking actors at the time for the juvenile lead, including Robert Blake and Robert Fuller. But he came home one day with several photographs, and his wife Rose picked out Michael Landon's photo right away. And she proclaimed, quote, Michael Landon has a face blessed from heaven. How can you consider anyone else if he can act?
Hoss, Joe, we're going to Virginia City.
Then we have Dan Blocker. No one but Dan Blocker could play the role of Hoss Cartwright, and in fact,
Mr. Hill?
David Dortort wrote the character of Hoss Cartwright with Dan Blocker in mind. He had worked with him on several episodes of The Restless Gun. And fortunately and fortuitously, Dan Blocker was available because his series Cimarron City was just canceled about the time that David Dortort was putting Bonanza together in the early weeks of 1959.